I'm Kelli.
And I'm Danni. Welcome back to the Procreators Podcast for moms who make things.
The podcast for moms and future moms who are navigating their creative careers as they raise their little inspirations.
Yes, we are so excited to introduce our very special surprise guest, Kellianne Rae Jordan. Kellianne's in the hot seat today. Yes. Now, before we get into it, we want to let the people know about you and your work. Let me get ready. Okay. Kellianne Rae Jordan is a Jamaican American storyteller who serves her community as a producer, writer, director, and award-winning actor for stage and screen. Kellianne has also produced and created many events for nonprofits, businesses, and individuals that connect art with service, community awareness, and engagement. As an actor, she recently received acknowledgement for the Best Ensemble for a play reading with National Black Theater. Kellianne is a recipient of the 2022-2023 UCLA Writers Extension Program Phyllis Gabauer Scholarship in Writing. Her first pilot was in the second round of the Circle of Confusion Writers Fellowship Program and is in the top 20% on Coverfly. Kellianne's latest short film, Just Friends, is making its round on the festival circuit, and she is working on her first feature. She continues to serve the community through her work as an alumni outreach coordinator with Black Girls Film Camp. Out of all the acknowledgments and all the accolades she has received, Kellianne is most proud of her status as a woman of faith, a wife to one, and a mother to 4 beautiful and brilliant children. This is Kellianne Rae Jordan.
Woo-wee! Grateful, gratitude. Look at me. I'm sitting on the other side of the table.
Other side of the table. How do you feel hearing about all your accomplishment and all these acknowledgments? How does that make you feel?
Grateful, honestly grateful. And I see the through line of my life has always been creativity and community. And that's something those are my two anchor words, create and community. Yeah.
I love that. And it really has been. And you definitely live it, not just because it's on this paper here, but it's an actuality. We see it even when you in your family community, with your friendship community, you've definitely always been about the two. So yes, definitely. We love that. All right. Let's jump right into it. Okay.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I can be.
We need to know more about you. We got to dive deep into my life. And now it's time to get into yours. Let's go. So, what was your perspective on motherhood before you became a mother?
Before I became a mom, I don't think I really thought about motherhood. I don't think it wasn't I always wanted to be a mom type of thing. It was never that. I think it was just, I know biologically motherhood is a possibility.
Right.
And I think thought, oh, it would be cool to have a baby one day, but I never imagined a husband or in the picture.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it was just I have this child. I'm not sure how it got here. So I don't. Yeah, I think it was more anyway, whether it's adoption or fostering but I never really spent younger, never really thought about motherhood or becoming a mom. I will say that I got married when I was 21, and I think that was the only moment where I was like, oh, this is the person I would love to have a child with one day.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's basically it.
And you did. And you had 4 his childs.
And did. And I had 4 his childs. But yeah, I don't think I thought motherhood is oh, okay. It wasn't anything to write home about for me. I do remember watching TV and being oh, this is a cool mom, a cool, your Claire Huxtable, your I can't remember what's the mom from Family Matters. For some reason, I can't remember.
Harriet.
Carl and Harriet.
Harriet.
I watched these shows oh, she's momming, but I didn't really have my thoughts are on it were just like, oh, okay, this is something that people do. It
So
sounds
why do
really
you,
odd, but
no,
like
it
I just
doesn't.
never really like it wasn't like
No,
something in my
it's
mind. Yeah,
understandable. It
my
wasn't something that
experience.
was at the forefront. What did you see your future as? Like, what preoccupied your mind, if not? Because obviously, I didn't spend all my waking moments either. Like, you see people on the, you see those kids like having the book with the dresses and they describe their wedding and they
Right.
all want to be right. But sometimes you
Mm-mm.
just, the time wasn't there. But did you see something else for your future? Like, was it just not in the picture, or you just, as you said, you just wanted to what, maybe adopt? What was it like? You can say it.
So I think my framework, and this is just, we're all about honesty and the truth. And the more I think
Right.
about the answer to this question, it's more so in my mind, motherhood was burdensome.
Mm,
And it was something that prevents you from accomplishing whatever the goals are that you have. So that's why it was really something that was never on my mind. I'm like, oh, it
right.
looks cool on the TV. Um,
Right.
but this is not really something that's in my frame of reference for my future. It's just like kids are costly. Kid will rob you of your entire existence, and you look
No.
back and then you haven't accomplished anything, and it's all because of the children. That was kind of my mindset about things. So it's multifaceted. I never really thought about it, but the reason why was because it was like, eh, you know,
It
burden.
wasn't sold to you in a bright light, right?
Correct.
But then when you met Mr. Jordan, you said,
That's
"Oh,
correct. I
all
was like,
bets are off."
hmm. Well, it was really, there were other things.
Mm.
No,
Right.
but honestly, he really opened my mind up to that because I knew that he would be a good father, and
Oh,
I think that's part of it too.
I
I
love that. So you felt like you would have the support to be a good mom because you had a supportive spouse.
Yeah.
Here we go. See, there we go.
This is
Hey,
helping me
we,
like
we
unlock the things. I mean, these are things that I've thought about, especially being a mom now and being a
right.
mom when I was like 24, I think I had Sarai. And so I don't think at that time I came to term with really my framework of motherhood, but it definitely later on manifested itself within my work ethic. Um, yeah, it
What?
definitely
And that's a
like, why do I work in this way?
right.
Because I told myself I would never allow being a mom to stop me from accomplishing my goals. And unfortunately, some of that was manifested in very unhealthy ways. It's like
Oh.
being a workaholic, not having a healthy work life balance.
Right. Well, that leads us to our second question.
Oh
Has
Lord
motherhood
God.
enhanced or challenged your creativity, right? So you're saying definitely there were challenges, but you've learned, right, about this work-life balance, right? And
Yeah.
also this is why we have the Procreators podcast, because we're showing that you can have both. You can have both and do them well. Okay. Because we are living proof.
Yeah. And I think, just to kind of wrap things up, that was my experience because of what I had seen.
Yeah.
And that created that framework in my mind. Sacrifice, right? You
Right.
have to lay yourself down on the altar so that your kids can rise up and take their and that is not, I
Mm.
thought that was what I had to do, but my
Right.
brain went resist. And so that's why that's like, by any means necessary, I will accomplish
Right.
my goals.
Right.
And
Right.
again, unhealthy, but I have learned to really, like, now that I know the root of that, navigate my life a lot differently.
Right now you're uncovering all these things, right? And it's just so interesting sometimes how we live our life. And we're getting through it and we're learning and we're growing, but we don't really always go back to the root of things, right? But can you say, right, that learning those things have enhanced and challenged, or enhanced or challenged your creativity? Like, how has all of that
I
helped
think
you?
it definitely, there are things in motherhood. I was already a certain type of person, very organized, very structured. I think in spreadsheets, which not everybody enjoys, but I love to-do lists and structure and framework. And so that was something I was able to transition into motherhood. And I think motherhood has enhanced that. And then creatively, my kids are enjoying all the fruits of my creativity.
Listen,
I done made up songs for these kids, stories for these kids. You know,
you have put your work, your
I
creativity to work.
to
Okay.
work. Oh, you hear me? To work.
I love
You
it.
got to engage your kids, right?
Of
And so
course.
they know I'm always going to have a story. I'm always going to have a song. Um,
But it's a part of you. It's a
it's a
part
part of
of
who I
you.
am. It's
It's
a
who
part of
you
who I am.
are. And that's
Yes.
why they want it,
That's what
right?
they
If
wanted. I
that's
love
why they
it.
want it. If you
They
were
love
an engineer, astronaut, scientist, they would want you to build them all the
it.
things, okay?
This is true. But I feel like it has enhanced my creativity. It has
Right.
forced me to really be strategic about how I move.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
it's forced me to look beyond what I see and imagine what could be the possibilities, right? Budgeting, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like finding a way to make it work.
there you go.
Um,
Making a way
yeah,
when there's no way. Let me
making
stop.
a way where there's no way, figuring out a way to make things work. And I think that that's definitely an asset that I bring to, if I'm ever producing anything. Okay, we're gonna figure out a way to make this work. We're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna do it. It's gonna
We're gonna get
happen.
it done. It's gonna get done.
It's gonna get
Yes.
done.
I've
And
seen
maybe,
it, people.
yeah, yeah. I think the most challenging part of the whole thing, just being a parent, is balancing. And I remember I've been under some amazing female leadership in my lifetime. I'm really, really grateful for that. Black, emphasis on
Yes.
Black
Oh,
female
yes.
leadership. And I remember one time, the CEO of this organization, she said, I'm throwing out the word balance, because
Mhm.
balance is not really real, right? You're not actually doing this. It's
Right.
more so like a flow. So when she
Yes.
said that, I started incorporating that into my own life.
Right.
It's a flow, right? Some seasons are going to be super hectic,
Yeah.
and other seasons are going to be, okay, this is a little bit laid back. I'm not a fan of being laid back. I mean, I'm a fan of being late. I like relaxing, but it's hard for me
No,
to
you told the truth the first
not.
time. Go
Oh
just
gosh,
own just
it's hard.
you're
I always
learning.
have to. Yeah, I'm always moving. My brain is always active. I'm always having
Right.
ideas.
Right.
Um, that's just how God wired me. But He's also
And
been
that's
pulling
okay.
me intentionally into seasons of rest. And so when those
Yes.
moments are that flow is happening, the
Hmm.
challenge for me is to just be aware of it, and also bring my kids into it. I think bringing them into the flow as opposed to
Love
just
that.
like keeping them on the outskirts. That's been the
Right.
challenging thing. And it's something that I've learned to do. And I've had the blessing of being able to bring my kids into production rehearsals,
Yeah.
have my kids attend events that I
Yeah.
produced. And that's it's just to be able to look at them and have them look at me and go, wow, mommy, I'm so proud of you. Those are the moments. I
I
don't care about
know.
nail one of the audience members. And as I do care about audience
Yeah,
members,
we
okay?
do care, but I know
But
what you mean. But that moment
but
right there.
mommy,
Hmm.
I'm so proud of you. Because of
Oh,
course they're seeing behind the scenes. My
right.
kids, if I have an audition, I remember I was in a theater production, and I was rehearsing every day, and I had some dance routines in, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of rusty with my dances. And my kids would be, can I help you run your lines? Like
Yeah.
they would actively be like, oh, can I help
Can I
you
be a
run your
part of your
lines?
life?
You
Can I
know,
be a part of your life?
and excited. to the point where they
Yeah.
actually started reciting my lines. And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
I don't think you're really supposed to be doing this. But
No, listen, they learning, okay? Because what if they
they're
want to get into
learning.
that later? Then they have the tools, and
They
it's gonna
do.
be so good for them. Like you're just creating like ease for them, right? Because
Yeah.
they're learning how to do it, and they'll know how to do it well. Yes.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I mean it's great. So I would definitely say they enhance my creativity. They're very supportive of me, especially because I brought them on the journey. They're not
yeah,
just outsiders as I'm pursuing this creative career.
right.
They're seeing the things that work. They're seeing me rehearse.
Seen
They're
it
seeing me
happen.
study. They're
Yeah.
hearing about this. And I'm very transparent with the things that I'm involved in so that they are not like, she's just leaving the house and she's getting on an airplane. No, I'm going because I have this and this to do, or I'm going to this place because I have an audition. And they're like, I hope you get the audition, mom. Do a great job. So it's
Yeah.
all of those little moments that strengthen me as a creative, as a woman, as a mom,
Yeah.
knowing that my progeny is looking at me and they're proud when I'm
Yeah.
also wanting to make them proud,
I
you
love
know?
that. A lot of times we like to have the finished product, the shiny product, or like
Yeah.
reach the goal, and then we want to show people, right? And not necessarily show people the process. And you can't hide the process from your family, right?
No, they don't see
And
me cry.
but you're right. But I think it's important. Like we have to show the process, even now, even on social media, just because we want to let people know reality, right? Just because you see these heights doesn't mean that they weren't lows. They won't not even unless not even so far as low, but like regular, like you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we have high, we have low, but we have like a regular, like a medium. Like there's those phases too. And like anticlimactic, but it's okay. And it's also a part of the process. And I really like that you talked about a flow because it's just like how the world rotates, right? We have seasons, right? And it's okay to adjust to the season, right? We do it naturally when it's hot as ever. Like when hurricane season comes, don't we go stock up on water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you know what I'm saying? So and when it's cold, don't we get out the coats? Like people, especially South Florida, they pull out Uggs and it ain't even that cold here, but they do it anyway. But the point of the matter is we adjust to seasons in the physical. Why don't we think that we can't adjust to seasons in every other parts of our life, right? Because we're human beings living in this world and the seasons is a thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
yes, I love
No,
that,
that's good.
and we're just it's parenthood. It's just the journey. It is the journey. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. And I'm
Now,
definitely enjoying motherhood now. And motherhood doesn't, I just want to combat, like, not combat, but just be
no,
clear.
believe
Like
me, you don't enjoy it.
I just,
You have four, girl. We know you love it.
I'm glitching in the background. This is not me. This is my my what is that?
The
my
AI.
my my AI, right? This is
Oh,
the AI
stop it.
version. I love motherhood. I do love motherhood. It is rewarding. It's beautiful. Is it
Yes.
challenging? 1000%. I'll be like, dang, now I know what my mama was going through. It's a
Right.
lot. It's a
Right.
lot to navigate. But at the end of the day, like when I open my door and I come home and those little people come rushing towards me, like that
Oh,
is the fulfillment of my soul. Like that
yeah.
is gratitude, that is joy,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it,
And
you
it's
know.
also the work that you have put out as well, right? It's a product of you. It's a product of the
Come
work that
on.
you and your husband put out, and their response to things, and just their whole being, right? It's just something for you to be proud of for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Okay. So now, how are you navigating your personal creative pursuits and motherhood? Now, give us practical stuff. You said you like spreadsheets. So do you have a spreadsheet for each kid or you have it for the whole family? Let's go.
Well, every kid does have a checklist.
Oh, I love that. I just made a checklist for the girls this week. I promise you. I just had, go ahead. I love
Yeah.
this.
And it's right there on their door.
Yes.
Um, so that they know like what they're responsible for daily. We have
Very good.
chore lists that go on the
Yes.
fridge, chore lists that
Oh,
they before they had a routine and they kind of knew the things that they were supposed to do. But I realized and I asked them, like, we literally had a family meeting, like, what will really help you guys? Because I used to do mini checklists for them, put it on their desk. on the days that we had cleaning or days like just any hectic time, I'd give them their own checklist. But I wasn't sure if that was something that was working, if something that they wanted. I didn't know. So we
Right,
had a
right,
whole family meeting. It's like, okay, what works best for you guys? And
right.
everyone was like, well, we love when you do the checklist thing because it
We
helps.
love
I
being
was like,
like you. We love
even
being listy like you.
even the little one was like, he was getting frustrated the other day because he was like, I can't find the dry erase marker. I can't check off the stuff. I was like, okay,
Oh
first of all,
gosh.
you got calm it down. Okay.
Ah. You
And
saw
when he
yourself,
wasn't that,
didn't you?
yeah,
You
I
saw
did.
yourself,
Yeah, I
didn't
did. He wasn't that hype about it, but I know that that routine, that consistency really does help them. And having a
you?
calendar on the fridge is also really helpful so that they know what's coming up next. And it's like
I
it's not
love
like
that.
a on the fly, on the
Right.
surprise type of thing. And that helps with all the different people. And as everyone gets older, they have this thing to do over here, this one has this thing to do over here, and then I have to go there, and then their dad has to. And so using the calendar on the fridge is really helpful. And then also Google Calendar
Yes.
is the place that
It's the
everything is.
place.
It's
But
the
you know,
storage.
I just started, it's just funny. We keep having these moments, right? Where like we haven't discussed this off, but I just like, I think it was last month before the school's term started. I bought this dry erase calendar and I just hadn't used it. It was just packed up on the floor, like it was huge though. And I said, I'm going to use it. And I put what we're doing now, like what daddy's working this weekend. And those things help visually seeing it. So
Mhm.
if this is a message to you guys out there, get you a dry erase calendar, a calendar for the family to see.
um yeah, so Google Calendar, my
Yes.
own personal to-do list so that I keep track because I have a lot of different projects that I'm working on. So I always love paper to-do
Yes.
lists.
Yes. I love paper.
um
It's
I
my
love
child.
paper.
Mhm.
I also use Google Keep or Google Tasks
Yeah.
for on the go
I
stuff.
think I think that's
um
great. Like honest, I used to do that before we had kids. The Google Calendar, like when we had gig, like if I had to babysit and Aaron had gigs. But when the kids came around, I was like, well, they can't read no Google Calendar. So, but buying the dry erase board and having that on display really made a difference. I think it's so important that we show them that they can see it. And even if they don't know how to read, you know that the color, like color code, say, okay, this red means that daddy is going to be working this weekend or not, he's going to be unavailable, you know, he's not going to be home. And I think it has made a difference. It made a difference for me. I didn't know how much it was going to make a difference for me. Mind you, bought this calendar, this thing months ago, like probably a year ago, and just hadn't used it, but realizing the importance of it. And yeah, it keeps us organized, and I think it's great.
Organized. That's
Oh yeah.
that for me. That's the most important thing that I need. Organization. When I feel in disarray or I feel like I don't know what's happening, or I start if I start my day without writing a to-do list for myself or reviewing my to-do list for the day before from the day before,
I love that.
I feel in disarray. Like I can't even explain the confusion that happens in my mind. I can't
Right.
even attack my day the way that I want without
Right.
having that order. And then I also just, for me, like being really prayerful about what God wants me to do. I know the moments when I'm not prayerful and how much more stressed I feel.
Right.
And so for me too, it's like being intentional about praying, seeking, asking God, what do you what am I supposed to do? You
Right.
know, because I've done the doing everything and
Right.
doing
It's being
things.
focused. So that's
Yes,
what.
being
So
focused.
Aisha Curry mentioned that I heard her mention. She posted something like years ago, and she talked about reviewing her to do list from the day before,
Yep.
and having a to do list, like a literal like checklist. She said that it really helped her bring things to mind. And then I also heard somebody say this probably like a week ago, saying, write that junk down. Stop
That's
keeping the
right.
stuff in your head. Because also when you see it, you have a clear direction. You notice what you're supposed to focus on. And that's going to be my thing for this week. If nothing else I'm going to take from this, I'm going to write down the things that I'm going to do so I can see it. So it's in my face. And, because life gone life. But when you have that checklist, you know for sure, okay, these things that need to be done, and these are the things that you were going there first before you said, "Scroll,
Yeah.
before you had scroll
Exactly.
moments." So yes, I love that. It keeps you focused, definitely. And yes, when you're prayerful, it also keeps you on that path, because you're not gonna like keep dabbling into things that you ain't got no business dabbling in. That's not for you.
Exactly.
That's not serving you in the moment. I'm big on getting rid of the things that don't serve us right now. So focusing, getting that list is going to allow you to do such that.
I'm getting ready to look at the goals that I set for this year to just kind of regauge where I am. And my tagline for the rest of this year is just like keep your foot on the gas, and use the brake when needed.
Oh, I like that. But you know what? That's that one. I think yes.
Yes.
Keep your foot on the gas and use the brake when needed, because guess what? We forget about that part, because everything runs out of gas. Okay, so you keep putting the gas and the car gonna go till the car runs out. Okay, at one point you're gonna have to refill, right? So I love that. I think that we forget about that tidbit, that this this hustle goal culture makes us it tells us you just have to keep going. But when you empty, what you gonna give? Where you gonna go?
Been there.
I've seen broken down on the road. Okay, you don't want broken down on the road. Nobody wants to be broken down on the road.
No, and I can't afford to be broken down on the road, because what I realized is it's not just me. When I'm not okay, my family is affected by it. So I've had to really assess emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, where are you? Because when you're not where you're supposed to be, everybody in my home feels it.
Yes,
They
you
know
all play a role. Yes,
exactly. They're like, you're a little bit cranky. What's going on?
That's putting it nicely,
What's
right?
happening? Hey, that's putting it nicely, right? You're a little bit, well, you know what? Honestly, I am a little stressed. And then God's like, well, you ain't got to be stressed, because I didn't tell you to sign up for that. But anyway, so that there's that. And then with my kids too, I'm getting ready to start doing, well, I keep saying I, but it's really we, right? We'll be doing goal setting meetings with each of our kids.
Oh, that's so good.
I mean, as they're getting older, they're starting to explore different things. And we want to make sure that we are supporting those things now. One of the things that God convicted me on was, you're doing great in the things that you're doing, right? You're pursuing these things, you have great opportunities on the horizon, fantastic. But also, I don't want my kids to think, and I don't want to project onto them like they can't do the things that they want. Like, you want to be an author right now? You have a book idea? Let's make it happen.
Do it.
You want to sing the national anthem?
Sing it.
Sing it.
There you go.
Know what I mean?
Get it out there.
You're ready to, some of them are expressing certain things. I'm like, well, let's figure out what you want to do, and let's figure out the steps to get there. And
look at you mothering and producing and the directing
mothering
and
everything. And listen, and I don't want them to feel like, and I get it, right? When you're doing the things, this is the focus. But I also, there's a scripture that talks about stirring up the gifts.
The gift.
Yes. And as parents, it is our responsibility to stir up the gifts. You see your child's kind of leaning, okay, you've got this athletic talent. Do you want to pursue that? Okay, well, let's get you into this program. You want to sing more? Okay, so let's figure out how maybe we should, be intentional about learning a song. And so that's just bringing your kids into the process and nurturing them like they need, so they can grow.
Absolutely. Sometimes we gotta be reminded what's our role as parents, right? Because sometimes we just get lost in the
paying bills of it all
today. Yeah, and the day-to-day, just surviving. Some of us are some people feeling like they're just surviving, okay? Because some of them are losing sleep and they're trying to do all the things. And, I was having a conversation with somebody who was talking about doing all the things. We don't have to do all the things, right? That's what we have community for. And just like we talked about, there's a role. Everybody has a role to play in the family. And that's an extended family as well. So you don't have to be everything. Okay.
No, that's right. 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 That's right.
Now, from your experience, what are some tips that you can share to help moms who are also navigating and building a creative career in the entertainment industry?
Ooh, in the entertainment industry,
Or just period. Okay.
what I've seen so far in the entertainment industry, I think it really is challenging to navigate a creative career being a mom, and different facets of the industry might be more conducive than others. But if, let's say, you're an actor or you're a producer, you are on set and the hours are not 9 to 5. Okay. So there are a lot of fantastic mom-centered organizations that are really working to trying to assess the industry and how things can be more supportive. Now, there are some amazing companies that have daycare on site for their employees, which
cheers to that. Cheers to
that, because with the way daycare prices are, it's even more challenging. But let's say that you have to work overnight on set, and you're a single mom, you may not have the support that you need to be able to be on set and take care of your child. So I think it's very interesting. For me, it's just mostly focusing my energies into my creative work in the indie space, where I can have more flexibility with the things that I want to do and what I want to make. And I can have more flexibility, in a sense, with the people that I'm working with creatively. A lot of the work that I do as of right now on the corporate side of things is remote. But of course, you have to be on set, you have to show up here, you have to show up there, you do these things. I'm glad to have a supportive spouse. I think, as far as tips specifically for creating, do a self-assessment. That would be my first thing. Like, take a look at yourself. Are you getting the things that you need to be healthy in every area of your life? And then do an assessment of your family. Are their needs being met? Not just bills being paid, but are they well? Are they thriving? Because one of the things I'm realizing too is I'm about to have a 13-year-old, and I promise you, yesterday she was an infant. Just yesterday. So that time is never going to come back to me. Yeah. Self-assessment, and then figuring out what it is that your family actually needs, and then working around that. I think it's easier to work from that perspective than to go, how can I fit all of these people in my life? But how can I create that flow? How can I create that flow?
Who we were talking to one of our guests. I'm not sure. I think it's Ariel. And we were talking about how your family is really an extension of you, right? It's not separate, right? So it's a complete package. So you just having to figure out, like you said, you doing that self-assessment. Yes, you're making sure you take care of you as a person, an individual in the family, but your family comes with you, right? Because it's a part of who you are. So it's just about figuring out the flow that works for everybody. And that is definitely the challenge. I think it's a challenge for people who've been working in corporate America, because a lot of these jobs or these careers want all of you, and except the part that includes your family, which I think is crazy. Right?
Listen,
because you can use those things. We talk about this all the time. As a mother, we have so many great tools like that can enhance companies, and they have, right? They probably don't put the respect, and they don't notate motherhood for it, but
put some respect on my motherhood skills.
There you go. That's a hashtag right there. Put some respect on my motherhood. Okay. Because we are out here really navigating the things. We are out here creating schedules, right? organizing, creating space for individuals to grow in their individual passions, because this is what you're doing, right? Doing your own thing, not neglecting others and that's not an easy job. Like a lot of people say, I don't have time to focus on anything else. I can only focus on myself. So the mere fact that you're doing the thing for yourself and for others, and even an extension outside of your family, y'all, she always be trying to listen. The Jordans Create is always out here to support everybody. Okay, your creative pursuits, the Jordans Create will help you. And they reach out beyond themselves, right? So yes, I love that you said, you do that self-assessment, because you definitely have to pour back into yourself, because the way you give, definitely need to make sure that you pour into yourself, because we want you to keep doing the thing with the community, and just because you are making an impact, and you're going to continue to do so. Oh, we love this.
Listen, thank God. I mean, I'm getting my work in, but I'm also getting my me time, and making sure that not being selfish in a way where I'm neglecting my family, but just, I think that open communication is what you need for any relationship. Hey guys, my room door is closed.
There you go.
I'm not available for any additional services.
Exactly. Yes. Some listen better than others, because Eva has come in here a couple times, and she knows that the door being closed means that it's podcast time. But here we're working with the flow. We're going with the flow, people.
Going
and we're learning. It doesn't mean it has to go perfect the first time, right? It's all about, it's part of the process.
Okay? Yeah, and there's so much more to learn as the kids get older. It's like at every phase, and we'll have a teenager, then we'll have a preteen, then we'll have a like all of this. So it has to be a flow, because if not, you're going to get stuck in using this is how it's supposed to be. And it's like, no, the kid's 13 now, they don't need breast milk anymore.
They don't. No, they got teeth. Okay. So yes, you have to make the adjustments, because you can't expect things to work the same way always. And you know what? We have the ability to be adaptable, and we need to just use it. Don't be afraid of that flow. Right? I feel like I should do a shimmy, but I'm going to embarrass myself. So let's jump right into the fun stuff so that I don't embarrass myself. Okay. All right. Now you're in the hot seat for this too. Give us your favorite TV, movie, mom. No, but not like of all time this year. Actually, you know what? I'm going to alter it. Favorite mom, not you. You can't pick you. Favorite mom that you've thought of, or maybe mom that you've thought of in recent that has been you've admired. Let me get that. Let's just get that.
Oh, in entertainment or in my life?
Just wherever, but only this. You don't go too crazy. It has to be a recent thought of thing.
Man, that's a tough one.
I know.
I feel like I've been surrounded by so many moms that have helped me see different perspective, motherhood from different angles. Right.
Just give us one. Enough people don't feel no kind of way if she didn't mention you. Okay. I'm just putting her on a hot seat. She's just going to think of the first one that comes to mind. Go.
Oh my gosh. There's so many. Like
pick one, girl.
My mind is like a Rolodex. Right
okay.
Now.
Give us three then. If you want a Rolodex.
I'll say there's someone I'm trying to think of. I'll say Denise.
She knows who she is.
She knows who she is. And the reason being that she has been like a mom to me. and just a very real, transparent, calling me out but still comforting me type of way. And she's someone who I've known for all of 15 years and has the ability to see, call out, love, and I always appreciate that about her.
Oh, I love that. Shout out to Denise. Denise, we love you for that. Because that's what we need. We always need somebody who can see the things and rein us in, you know?
Yes.
With love.
With love. And then, you know, I honestly have like the best mother-in-law that she's not even like a mother-in-law to me. She's my mom.
Oh,
But when you talk about people like in this on the fly moment, like these are the
yeah.
people of late that have really like reminded me of who I am,
Yeah. Shout
shown
out to
me,
Mimi.
yeah,
Yes.
show me who I am, remind me like you got this, like
Yeah.
everything's gonna work out, you got this,
Yes.
gives
Oh, I
great
love that.
advice, um, and just all around supportive and encouraging. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes people may perceive me a certain way, but the people who really know me know like my strengths and my weaknesses,
Yeah.
and they also know how to fortify me in those areas. Like, I know you're feeling anxious about this, and I just
Yeah.
know that everything's going to be okay,
Yeah.
or okay, you need to take a look at this, because you looking at
You need to
this.
sit down. You need to
Okay,
sit down.
you need to you need to, your eyes are crossed as you're looking at this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a different
Yeah.
perspective. So I think
I
those are
love
folks,
that.
and then everybody that we've interviewed on the podcast honestly have been a source of encouragement to me. And like,
Yeah.
there's just so many people. I hate to like boil it down, but if
No,
I
you're not.
have to in this moment,
No, you don't have
I'll
to.
say these two people of late,
Yes.
when I
Right.
look at the past week, the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
people who have given me strength.
Oh,
And
yes.
even you, Danielle, like, we be having our conversations, and sometimes Danielle will check me. She'll be like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I'll be like, "You're excused."
Listen, and I love it. Listen, but that's what we're here for,
That's
okay?
what we're here
And vice
for.
versa. That's what, and
Yeah.
that's why we always like advocate for a community or a village. And as it's not only about babysitting, right?
Yeah.
But it's really about just having that understanding. I had a friend, like I sent a voice message out, and I was just like, oh, that was no, it was a video message. I was like, okay, I was just talking to her. And I didn't say anything. I didn't express how I felt about anything. And she's like, you sound like I was feeling. You sound like you tired. And I thought I was just being normal, but she saw straight. And that's what I love about it. When you have the village, they can see through your facade, right?
Huh?
And they can
Oh
tell
no.
you need to rest. Why don't you
Yeah.
take a minute and or just say, I see you and I understand what you're going through. Because our
Yeah.
spouses sometimes don't always get it. Their brains don't work like ours do, right? So they don't understand all the things that we have on our internal checklist. So I'm grateful for that community, and I'm
Yeah,
grateful for the
for sure.
people that see you and support you too. Love
Yeah.
that.
So many people. And we need that as artists, as creative people. Like I said, people might perceive that you've got everything that you need. And it's like, no, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, we're all learning, we're all growing, we're all navigating, we're all dealing with ups, we're all dealing with downs,
Yes, yes.
and we do ultimately all need each other. So there's that.
Yes. All right. Now, as we come to our close, we conclude our wonderful interview with the extraordinary Kelli Rae. What what encouraging words can you share with a mom? Even if it's just one phrase or one word, what encouraging thing can you share with our moms, our listeners?
The thing that I say to myself, which is keep your foot on the gas, but use the brake when necessary.
I love it.
And whether that's in your parenting, it's like go as hard as you can, but be intentional about recognizing when you take a break, when you need to take a break. And I remember my therapist was like, you can't just take a break after you crashed, right? You're taking
Because
a
that's not
break.
taking a break. That's not taking a
That's
break.
not
You
taking a
crashed.
break. You crashed. And so now your leg is broken in 3 places. So you have no choice but to be still. But it was like being intentional with strategizing. I think before I used to just be really easy going, oh, things are just going to happen. And this is like as a teenager, you're like, life is just going to happen. Things are going
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
and
Just flow.
it's just going to flow. And it's like, no, actually, we have to be very intentional,
Yeah.
because everything is pulling our attention. This
Right,
is
right.
like, this is pulling my attention. This is pulling my
Yeah.
attention. So how are
Yeah.
you going to know what you're actually supposed to be focusing on when everyone
Right.
wants a piece of you?
Right.
So I guess that's actually probably my real tip, is like focus in on the things that are actually important to you, because other people are not going to value your motherhood, your personal creative goals, we have to focus in on that which concerns us.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, if I don't fulfill the things that I'm being called to do, that doesn't just affect me. It
Yeah.
affects my family. It affects it.
Yes.
And it's not a thing about like there's a lot of pressure. It's more so like it's a joyful thing for me to be able to do because
Yeah.
I know that the great grandkids that are to come will be able to see the work that I've done, experience the work that
Yeah.
I've done, and
Yeah.
be blessed by something that I intentionally planned years ago. Well, God, right? But me actively being
Yeah,
in
doing the
pursuit of
things.
those things.
And it's joyful because you're doing what comes naturally to you, right? And she talks about her great grandkids, and it's not necessarily about seeing, yes, it's also seeing the things out here, in practical, like happening, right? The movies and the things, right? But it's also about your the way your mind works, right? You're pushing through. So like my mom talks about how I can be like my grandmother in like in terms of like, I'm gonna get the thing done. They say feisty, but that's not really what it is. It's just about like I know what I want to do and I'm going after it.
Attacking with passion.
There we go. And like that has definitely, you see it in my little ones. And so it's even those things. It's the fight, the way that we operate our life, the way that we get through life, the problem solving, all those things are going to be carried, passed on to our generations to come. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, I
Yeah.
love
Do the
that.
things, mama. Like, don't sell yourself short.
So
If you're called to homeschool, get in there and homeschool them kids to the best of your
listen,
ability. If you're called to do
homeschooling.
what, to write the book or whatever, and it's so easy to say, but I
It
but I
is. It's easy to
promise
say.
you, once you start putting the pen to the paper and you realize how much joy it's actually
Yeah.
bringing you, how
Yeah.
much more, how much passion you actually, oh my gosh, I've unearthed this passion that I
Yeah.
always had. And
Yes.
now I'm touching it again. I'm
Yeah.
feeling it again. I'm breathing life back into myself.
Yes.
Um, and this world is very much what can you show for? What can you do? But as far as the external, the value of that to me is great,
Yeah.
but it's minimal if I am not satisfied, if I am not pursuing the things that I know are within me.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I have to do that. I have to do
Yes.
that.
Yes. We have to do the things. We have to be who we are, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very hard when you fight against the thing, fight against that when you're not being who you are. And especially what you're being called to and you're gifted to do.
Yeah.
Well, just like we do with everyone, Kelli, let us know, let the people know how they can connect with you on social media to keep up with your work.
Well, I am on the socials.
All the socials.
Let's see. I'm on Instagram at kelly.ray.jordan. But you can just put my whole name, Kellianne Rae Jordan, and I will pop up on Instagram for you. Or
Yes.
you could just Google me.
That's right. She's on LinkedIn. She on Facebook. You can find her.
No, yeah, I am. I am on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there. My other social page, which is getting ready to be back up and running soon, is the Jordans Create. That is a production
Yes.
company that I have with my husband. And our
Mhm.
whole aim is again to create community. We want
Yes.
creatives who may have the idea and are like, I have this idea. I don't even know where to begin, but I see it
Right.
in my mind. Okay. My passion is to help you take your idea and make it reality. Because sometimes we really just need somebody to hold our hands. We
Yeah.
may have just half a seed of faith
Yes.
and really just need someone to grab us and go, you could do this and I'm going to
Yeah.
stand with you. And I've had people who did that in my life.
Right.
And I think that's you need that. The community, the village, we don't underestimate it. tell
No.
tell your dreams to your community. Now, the community that you trust, okay?
Right. You don't want you just telling Danni and everybody, because
don't
not
just
everybody
go
be for you, right?
exactly.
And your community
Okay.
might just be your spouse at this moment, and that's okay.
And that's okay. But tell those people you're hiding. I mean, Kelli, she encouraged us, right? Like put what you want out there because you never know. Someone might be literally saying to you, oh, I've been looking for somebody who, or I've been, you know what? I can help you with whatever the thing is. So
Yeah.
I think we just have to be really, like I said, focus in,
Yes, and be who you are.
focus in. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. Well,
Yeah.
thank
That's
you
it.
so much, Kellianne, for joining us on this podcast. You took out so much time, your precious time. I appreciate you, rearranging your busy schedule to fit us
Well,
in.
I,
And
I try to do what I can for the little people. No, just kidding. I'm joking, you guys, clearly.
we appreciate. Listen, we hope that you guys have gotten to know a little bit more about Kelli, our co-host Kelli, and all the wonderful things that she has. Definitely go ahead and look her up on her Instagram page, and also check out her production page, The Jordans Create. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. Special thanks to our audience. Catch us weekly on Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave a review and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you. It's interesting being on the other side of
Yes.
of the desk. But
Yes.
we want our audience to get to know us,
Right.
who we are, how we think,
Yeah.
what we believe, our struggles.
Yes.
Trust me, there's still so many things that as a mom I'm dealing with within myself. And I can't, this is another piece of the podcast, right? But sometimes I wish I could just go off on an island and just deal with my issue
And come back.
and
Yeah,
then come back. And then it's like, oh, okay.
no.
But there's no sabbatical necessarily when you're a mom. So, I mean, there is, right? In a sense,
But then you're
and
not
making
teaching
sure.
them problem solving.
Exactly. I'm not, how do you
Yeah.
deal with their issues in real life and in real time? And,
Yes.
yeah, there are things that we go through and challenges, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm raising children. We are raising children who we want to show up in the world doing exactly what God's called them to do. And even if they, trip and stumble while they're on their way there, they are still pursuing and pursuing and pursuing.
Because we're
And
not going to perpetuate perfection in a way
right.
that is, because that is so
Unhealthy.
damaged. It is. It's damaging. It's unhealthy, and it's unnecessary. It's not necessary to be a success. It's not necessary to be a person worthy of love, or a great artist, or great in whatever. Like perfection is not. It's not mandatory. So
Yeah, it's really how I frame perfection is, am I proud of the work that I've done? Because I used to really struggle, and this is not, again, we are like way over time, but I used to really struggle with the perception, right?
Yeah.
This idea of perfection that I felt like I never could attain it. But then I would, particularly when coming to auditions, my goal became not being the perfect person for the role, or not having the framework of my goal is to get this role and then stress myself out. But my goal is to do my best work. And if I leave the audition, I'm going into the audition and I'm saying, my goal is to do my best work. Yeah. And that's it. To be pleased with the work that I put out in the world. Yeah. And then leaving and going, that's my assessment. Do I feel like I did my best work? Did I give my all? And if I can say yes to that, then that's where I rest.
I love that, because that's what we all need, because that is a great mindset to have. You've given your best, and that's all you can do. And yeah, I love that.
I did the best I could with what I had. Yeah. And because that's all you could do at the end of the day. Perfection is just, it's not even about perfection. It's about practice, progress, growth, all of those things. Those are the words that really are impactful, right? How did you grow from even something that didn't come out perfect, right? It's like I love Bob Ross because he's always like, you know,
I
you made
love
a little
him.
mistake, and it's like that's all
Yes.
right, you know. It's like not
I
a
want a
big deal.
glimpse into Bob Ross's home. Like, let me tell you, I want to hear his son talk about how he's at home when he gets mad. What does he do?
Yeah, what
Does
does
he
he
still
do?
keep that? Does he still keep that tone? Did he talk about
That
some trees?
boy's
He say throw a little
just
tree in there. I bet you. I want to
throw a
know
little
what he
tree in
really
there.
do.
It's okay that you broke my favorite whatever. We're just gonna
We're gonna throw a little happy tree in there, right?
throw a happy tree.
I'm
Just
sure
turn
he
it into a
aspired
cloud.
to be that way, and that's okay. I like him as he is. I'm going to
Me
take
too.
note from that. I don't have to be that way always, but I can be that way when things get a little crazy.
Period. All right. Now, officially, thank you for listening in on the Procreatives podcast today.
Yes.
Special thanks to our audience. Catch us weekly on Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave us a review and follow us on Instagram and Facebook to get more information and inspiration on motherhood and making things. Share this podcast with a
Yes.
friend, you know,
Yes.
someone who's a
Share.
mom who's expecting, or someone
Yes.
who's considering maybe becoming a mom in the future, or if you're a mom. Enjoy this podcast, share. We would love to make sure that we continue to expand our community so we can have
Yeah.
more support for moms like you and I.
Yes. And if you have a question or a comment, send us an email at theprocreatorspodcast@gmail.com, or, shoot us a DM, make sure you're respectful. Always, always, always. Shoot us a DM, if you have a question or comment, we're definitely, as Kellianne said, we want to expand our community. We want to make sure that you feel seen and that your concerns and questions are being answered. That's what we're here for.
Yes. Yeah. So send us that DM.
Yeah.
Send us that
Slide in there.
email. We want to hear from our community, and we want to know how we can support you. We're always looking to, engage topics and conversation that is really what's pertinent to what different people are experiencing. We have not arrived. There are always, always, always more to learn. So until next time, keep creating, mamas.